Confirmed WILFRIED ZAHA to Arsenal closer than ever before. Hello everyone and thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and make it a point to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you. As long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, we are definitely dedicated to bring to you the latest straight as it comes in. It will be remembered that WILFRIED ZAHA has been an Arsenal target for a long period of time, for quite a big number of years. They have been looking at Arsenal have been looking at even not only the current manager, even the managers before. For some reason, managers have always thought that WILFRIED ZAHA should be an Arsenal football player. Not only the current manager, but also the managers that have been at Arsenal. That's what makes the difference. But this deal is closer than ever before. Why is this deal closer than ever before? Because WILFRIED ZAHA is definitely he's a free agent right about now. He's totally free. He's out of contract, and definitely this could be something that Arsenal likes, because Arsenal does not like spending a lot of money on football players in the transfers. He likes buying a bit cheap football players, but cheap but effective. And let's say, for those of you who do not know who WILFRIED ZAHA is, WILFRIED ZAHA is known as WILFRIED ZAHA. So it's called WILFRIED ZAHA. He's a professional football player who plays as a forward for Premier League club Crystal Palace and also the Ivory national team. WILFRIED ZAHA advanced into Crystal Palace first team from their academy in 2010, and his first 3 full seasons at Selhurst Park, he scored 18 goals in all competitions, and it will be remembered that he was born in 9th of November 1992, and that definitely makes him 30 years of age. And definitely his salary is £6.78 million. Do you think Arsenal can afford that? I personally think Arsenal can. Current teams, Crystal Palace is a forward. He plays for also Ivory national team, Ivory Coast national team. That's great. He's a number 9. Then nationality is between Ivory Coast and also England. He's been raised in England. He holds English nationality, so he can decide to play for England. But I don't think he's been ever called for England. But it's not also something that he has gone for. He has not really wanted to. His plan is always playing for Ivory Coast. That's where he always lies. So his nationality, I've already known that it's English and Ivory Coast. And then his full name, I told you his full name is WILFRIED ZAHA, and his height is 1.8 meters. Definitely that is a good height for a football player like him. So with Arsenal looking at forwards, with Arsenal looking at reinforcement in the forward section, he could be a perfect football player for the club. He could be a very wonderful one. He could come in handy. He could definitely do a great job for the club Arsenal. And I think if Arsenal want this to definitely go on, if Arsenal wants this football player to accomplish this transfer, Arsenal need to get serious as fast as they can. Arsenal need to make sure they can get a big transfer as fast as they can. Talk to WILFRIED ZAHA's agents, and also anyway, his agents have been talked to. They have had meetings with Arsenal management, and a fee has agreed that has not yet been disclosed. But we need to see what is in the transfer market for WILFRIED ZAHA. What is WILFRIED ZAHA's transfer market value actually? Let's see. WILFRIED ZAHA market value. Anyway, there are quite a big number of clubs that want WILFRIED ZAHA, and Manchester United also has always wanted WILFRIED ZAHA. So there could be a tight competition, and there is also a club in La Liga, Barcelona. Barcelona also wanted this gentleman. But I think Barcelona could be out of the picture right about now. It could be Manchester United and Arsenal trying to get this gentleman. So WILFRIED ZAHA's current market value is between £14.7 million and £24.4 million. That is definitely a good thing for the club Arsenal. First of all, Arsenal doesn't want to cash in a lot of money. Arsenal doesn't want to put in a lot of money into football players buying big stars. But if his market value is £14.7 million, I mean, we're talking about WILFRIED ZAHA. We're not talking about another player. We're talking about ZAHA. He's a great football player. He's a brilliant football player. And between 14.7 to 24 million pound, actually euros, that's little money for. To be fair, that's little money for ZAHA. I thought even he would be valued quite even much more than that, but statistics don't lie, numbers don't lie. It's 14.7 to 24.7. So, and the fact that he is a free transfer, that is definitely why Arsenal has a big chance of signing him. Arsenal has definitely a big chance of signing him. And the fact that Arsenal is trying to make sure that they can, solve the problem of depth. You can have Gabriel Jesus there. You can have Edin Ketia there. There's no problem of having WILFRIED ZAHA there. WILFRIED ZAHA, I mean, no, he's played quite well with Crystal Palace. If he's performed the way he's performed with Crystal Palace, just know if he gets to a bigger club, it's gonna be quite great. And when he's played Arsenal, it's definitely been he's played very well. He's definitely played well when he's played Arsenal. When he's played Manchester City, he does not feel any big club. That's what makes him an exceptional. He has always almost scored against all big clubs. He's definitely a very good one. So we can see how many goals does he have. 4, 2, I'm saying per season, 4, 2, 7, 9, 10, 4, 11, 14. And all this you can see, it's in Crystal Palace. All this is in Crystal Palace. And definitely he has had wonderful seasons. He scored quite a big number of goals. Then in the AFCON, he's also played quite well in the AFCON and also World Cup qualifiers. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comment section and what you think about Arsenal signing this gentleman. Do you think it's going to be a brilliant move for the club Arsenal, or you think it's one of the things that Arsenal should distance away from because he is a bit old, but not too old. 30 is still, you can still have a few more games, a few more seasons, 2-3 seasons if you are 30. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is playing at 37 years old. Leo Messi is playing, I think he's around 35 years old or something. And they still have quite a lot to bring on the table. In 30 years, at 30, and black don't crack. So at 30, he can still bring quite a lot on table. He can play until he's effectively, I think Zaha can play until he's 30, 34, 35, effectively. With nobody saying he's a bad football player, with no complaints, he can still play. And I think if Arsenal can sign him for 3-4 years, definitely that will be great. That will definitely be great. So Arsenal is looking at different ways. Arsenal is exploring different ways on how they can sign the star, how they can sign the football player. And I think it's going to be a brilliant one. It's going to be a very wonderful signing if Arsenal comes out and definitely signs this gentleman. And as I told you before, Arsenal need to hurry up in signing football players because football has changed from the way it was before. Last time a football player was analyzed by a club, he would remain on that club. They try their level best, go on that club, and every football club almost had their football players that they definitely wanted. There was not that bidding, there was not that struggle for football players. Right about now, it's a complete market. It's a proper market, you know what I mean? It's a complete market. It's a bidding war, it's definitely a bidding war with clubs cashing in big amounts of money to have football players. And if you act slow, you get nothing. When you act fast, you get all. You get whatever you want, and you can only be ruled out by FFP. But you have to be willing to cash in. You have to be willing to let let the money go and you can get the best of football players. So let me see how Crystal Palace performed, whether he could be having a chance of remaining at Crystal Palace. So when we look at when we see EPL table, I need to see the EPL table and see how where Crystal Palace was this season. Definitely, you can see Arsenal has had a wonderful season despite everything. Arsenal has had a wonderful season. It's been a good season. Leave around anything. Everything else, Arsenal has had a brilliant season. So Crystal Palace, definitely. Crystal Palace, it's always in between there. Mediocre is not that bad. It's not that good. And the fact that I think Wilfried Zaha is now looking at retirement. I think he needs to play with the top club. I don't know whether you agree with me, but the fact that he's now an old football player, getting old, he's going to be saying goodbye to football. And I think what he needs is a good club, at least try and win a Premier League title. And that's what every football player definitely needs. And this is what Arsenal is promising. If Arsenal can have him, possibly they can even play much better than they played last season. So I think it's going to be a great one. I think it's going to be a good one if Arsenal can sign him, as he is willing to leave. Crystal Palace, and Arsenal are also willing to pay. So it now goes about the willingness of the club to let him go. And I think the club is not asking a lot of money, and by what we've seen, from his market value, he's not going to cost Arsenal a lot of money. It's not going to cost 100 million euros or 100 million pound to get him. No way. No way it's going to cost that much amount of money. It's going to cost less. Not You could actually not even get to 30 million pound whatsoever. So, and the fact that there is no second transfer, definitely because he's a free agent, I think that is a great thing for the club Arsenal, and that's what Arsenal always wants. I think if Arsenal could manage, they could just have free transfers, because Arsenal always wants free football players, because they always make their spending. They reason quite a lot about their spending. So Arsenal is not willing to spend a lot of money. So those football players that are linked to the club Arsenal with a heavy amounts of money are definitely not going to end up at Arsenal. But you never know what can happen. With what happened last season, very many people didn't think Arsenal would finish where it finished. When the season was starting, everybody was saying, "Oh, Arsenal will finish up possibly in the 10th position or something." But you saw what happened. Definitely, I've got no problem with that. I saw what happened. It was great. So I think to have a better season, to have a good season, definitely Arsenal needs to make sure that they can get more football players in quality. And when we talk about quality, we're talking about WILFRIED ZAHA, because he plays good. He plays quite well. He plays nice football. He's a brilliant football player. He has been playing very, very well of recent. So I think it's a brilliant one. It's going to be a great move for him. It's going to be a brilliant move for him as a football player. WILFRIED ZAHA is going to have the best of times at Arsenal if Arsenal signs him, and he can play top football with a top club. And Arsenal as a club is also going to benefit in this, because they've got a top striker, and you have to give him enough time to cope up, and also you've got to trust him and trust the process, because he always scores. And if he scores, he scored while he's at Crystal Palace, why not at Arsenal? The numbers are going to double. I can confirm to you that he goes to Arsenal, numbers will definitely double, because when you see the midfielders that are Arsenal, passing the ball to him is definitely dead easy, and reinforcements are being a major thing that they want to do. Arsenal want to do big reinforcement in this summer transfer window, so shouldn't be taken for granted. and I think it's going to be massive. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be quite great. Let's wait and see. I'll be bringing to you the latest that will be coming in from WILFRIED ZAHA and him joining any club, but most likely Arsenal, as Manchester United is interested in him. It's going to be a bit of tight competition between Manchester United and Arsenal, but I think Arsenal have an upper hand in this. Bigger advantage goes to Arsenal, and Arsenal could definitely have WILFRIED ZAHA, as they have been trolling for him for quite a long period of time, been after him for quite a big period of time. Otherwise, thank you for watching the Arsenal chapter, and make it a point to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right up here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your host Abu Kals. Thank you and goodbye for now.